Hey everyone, welcome to USA Crypto Group. Today we have the team from SOWL Token. SOWL Tokens is the learn to earn token, and its mission is to revolutionize the world of virtual learning by giving you rewards for learning. Like always, this AMA is for informational purposes only. This is not financial advice, and there's no commitment to the team. With that, I'd like to welcome Megan. Megan, great to have you here. If you can start out introducing yourself, talk about your team, and a bit about your background.
Sure. So thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Megan Hallett, and I'm the founder and CEO of the SOWL Token. We are a BEP20 utility token. We launched on October 3rd, so we're not even a month in post-launch. But we are comprised of a couple additional team members, starting with my little right-hand woman who, her name is Tiffany, and she is our in-house designer, graphic designer, and also game development and designer. So any of the frames and artwork that you see for the SOWL Token, they all came directly from her. We also have a couple different developers. We have Trinos, who is our contract developer, and he's our developer on the back end. He created our SAFU contract to ensure that we had all of the safety and security measures needed before launch. But we also have Brothers Artwork, who are our two app developers for the utility that we have. And they'll also be expanding on that in version 2, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. And then we also are very, very fortunate to be connected with a couple, larger names in our country. The first one being kind of our guru, and some of you may have seen her on VH1 and Bravo. She's a rapper, R&B artist. Her name is Lady Luck, or Chanel Jones. She's a longtime friend, and now she's a multi-business owner, but she really advocates for education, and she's dipping into the crypto scene, and so she serves not only as our kind of guru and advisor, but she's also got her hands in the marketing as well, along with a guy named Mo Ager as well, who actually lives in Vietnam now, but before he lived in Dallas, where he played for the Dallas Mavericks under Mark Cuban, and he serves as another one of our advisors, and he's also going to help us with the expansion of our NFTs down the road in our roadmap too. So we're happy to have them on board with us as well, and serving as key players in our community. So and that's our team. We're a small but mighty team. We wear a lot of different hats to get our jobs done. It's been, many years in the making, and we're extremely happy that we're at this point now. So that's our group here.
Yeah, thanks for that, Megan, for the amazing introductions. And it's always awesome to have some big names backing you up, right? Mm-hmm. And education, I think, is critical. That's something that we can also vouch for you guys, or advocate for you guys as well, because I think education, it's the key to everything, right? Now and then we kind of realize that you may not need a 4-year degree, but I think having that basic foundation of education is crucial. Doesn't matter where you are, and I think it's the reason why you recognize that, and that's the reason why you came up with this concept. Mm-hmm. Now, Megan, could you speak on the background? Now, from reading, I understand that you have an extensive background in educations, and you are a curriculum writer. Could you speak on that a bit, and on why did you pick educations to be your project in the crypto space?
Sure. So I am a firm believer, like you said, that knowledge is power, and education is something that everyone should have equal access and opportunities to, no matter where they are. So my background is in education. I have my bachelor's and master's degree in education. My master's is in classroom technology in particular, so focusing on a lot of different technological resources that we have to help expose different people all around the world to educational opportunities. And so that's really what opened up the doors for me to realize that, education doesn't have to just be in a classroom, but that it can be on the blockchain. So having that knowledge and being a certified educator, both in English language arts and also having special education certification. I taught for 8 years at the high school level. And then, when March of 2020 rolled around and everyone was home, unsure of how we were going to move forward, I really, sat there and thought about my different passions, one being education, others being app development, and, the third one being cryptocurrency. I obviously, I knew what it was. I had my own, investments in other projects, but it wasn't until I realized that there was an opportunity for me to take all of these passions and morph it into one that this project was built. So in doing so, I realized utility tokens are a thing, and, you can tokenize anything and give it value. And I really wanted to create something in this space that wasn't going to be, a meme coin or something that was popular for 15 minutes and, had its claim to fame for a little bit on Twitter and disappeared. I wanted there to be something that was long-term. I tell people I'm only ever going to have one project in this space. And I say that because if I have to have a second one, it means I didn't do my job with this one. So I'm very committed to the passion behind this being an education-based project and taking the term play to earn and evolving it into learn to earn, and still rewarding people for gaining something like additional education. So that's really where this all came about. And we started first with just a mobile app called Early Bird, and realized at that point that it could be so much more than a mobile app. We're constantly evolving, and we're moving apps from, taking up storage on our phones to making them web browser apps or D apps that you can just load with a simple URL and connecting your wallet. And that's actually something we're building on now, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later too. But we're ever expanding and still learning in the process too. And I think that also, I admit to, I'm learning in the process. Our community members are learning because everything in this space has been changing. And I'm sure everyone in this group has seen that the crypto market has changed so much in the past year, and it's our responsibility to constantly be learning about those changes. And so we're just constantly, seeing new and innovative ways that we can expand our project in this space.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
First, I appreciate you being a teacher, and I love the fact that you combining all your passions together, right, and launching this business, right, but at the same time still doing the things that you love to do, which is, apps, developer, and education as well. 100%. The blockchain allows you to pretty much tokenize it, right, and spread it all over the world. But at the same time, by tokenizing the project, you incentivize people. So in a way, you have a chance to, give back like you guys are doing, give back the reward. So which is an amazing, so it's all about down to implementation, but the system is there for us to really strategize and do it in a way that you guys are doing it. Like you said, level the playing field across the world, so, which is very crucial.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Amazing story. And sometimes, sometimes in the United States, especially, I think, sometimes we, under-recognize educators, right? Especially teachers. So, for you to recognize the blockchain, and now you can actually teach the whole world in a way, which is beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. So before we go on, Megan, because the project is already live, I want to, kind of rewind it back, kind of in the beginnings of your days when you first launched. So you say it was launched around October 3rd, correct?
Yep. So originally we were actually planning to launch last December of 2021, and I'm sure we all can remember when the entire market just kind of took a tumble at that time. And I had to make the conscious decision to wait it out. I had put so much into this project and the planning behind this project, and I just knew it wasn't the right time to launch then. And sometimes I think about the fact that if I had launched back then, I don't know if we would be here right now. So we did delay for a little bit, went back to the drawing board, kept expanding during that hiatus, and then we knew it was time, and we launched on October 3rd. So yeah, 17 days ago is when my new life began, I like to say.
Yeah, 17 days ago, and you had a private sale. How much did you raise in that private sale?
Yeah, so we had that private sale back in December, and I'm very, very fortunate to have such a wonderful group of private sale holders who they're still with us. And we, in that very first private sale that we had on December 20th, we had raised roughly around 29 BNB. So it was a small sale, and that was kind of an indicator for me that we should maybe hold off a little bit. However, the fact that those people who participated, they stayed active in our chat for, almost a year. And we just talked about how we were building, and they're still very active in the community today. So I do have to give them a shout out for their long-term dedication with this project, which, it is rare, but I'm incredibly grateful for. And then right before we launched on October 3rd, we did a fair launch on Pink Sale where we raised 75 BNB with a soft cap of 25 BNB. But then we had a couple heavy hitters come in at the last minute. Literally in the last 15 minutes, we saw it go from 25 to 75. And that's when I knew, hey, we have a shot in this market. So I was really thankful for that. And then we launched on October 3rd with an initial market cap of $67,000, which, a year ago I wouldn't have been happy with, but I knew with what the market looked like and where things were, I said, okay, this is what we're going in with. And here we are now. So, yeah.
That is amazing. Like you said, you guys raised 29 BNB, in your private sale, and you said you had been putting the work, a couple of days right after the pandemic there. So that's been almost 2 years. So I guess the question was pretty much because the 29 BNB, that's not a lot, and you guys been working for 2 years. Did you put out some of your money as well? How did you get all this developed?
Yeah, so I started development as my own kind of passion project in 2020. So the app was kind of like privately and self-funded, and just having a good long-standing relationship with our app developers who they have worked on other projects with other people that I know. So it was really kind of a side gig for me while teaching, was being a project manager and helping other people that I know have their apps built out. But I never took any sort of ownership with it. I just kind of helped be that leader and that manager to help, other people create those apps with our developers. And I think that having that long standing relationship with them, actually of about 5 years, and knowing the same developers, we were able to kind of just keep building, and I knew how we worked, and we worked well. And that 29 BNB was not a lot to go back in to do a fair launch with, and to do that marketing of that fair launch. So holding on to that, and doing just a lot of self-marketing and spreading the word, in-person marketing too, which I know isn't a super big trend because so much of what we do is online, but I'm a go-getter, and I'll just go out in person and start talking to people about what we're building, and I won't stop until everyone knows about it. So we were able to take that 29 BNB and turn it into 75, and now it's more than that. So it was really quite miraculous how everything really built out and came to be. But I wake up every day just so thankful that it turned out the way it did, because having that time of self-discovery during the pandemic when we were all just trying to figure out what to do, and it affected all of us in so many different ways. I'm happy that I could build something positive to bring out of that pandemic, and to see where it goes from here is something I'm really looking forward to.
I mean, definitely impressive. If you dissect the numbers, 29 BNB private sale and 75 BNB pre-sale, right? Mm-hmm. For an ambition project like that, 75 BNB is actually not a lot. Now, that makes sense that you guys have not really been putting in to any kind of marketing prior to this because you guys didn't have money to do so. But what's more impressive is that it was initially at 67,000 market cap, like you said, and right now it's currently sitting at 1.2 million. So it's around 19x. Is that correct? Around there, 1920?
That would be correct. We hit our all-time high a couple hours ago of 1.64 million, I believe, and I just made sure to get a quick screenshot of it to hold on to it. And so we've been kind of, staying above that million right now, which I'm incredibly impressed by and very, very thankful for. We've done, we had a little bit of pre-launch marketing that we did with the Blockchain Pros, and they were a blessing, and they stayed with me through that whole year too. We actually met in February of 2021, and they stayed communicating with me, and we pushed it out. And then now from here, post-launch, we've just been trying to figure out and establish what our community is, what we stand for, who we are. And now this is, really the kickoff of that major marketing that we plan to do. So that was raised with, AMAs and spreading the word and being so active in our chat and just going out there and telling people what I'm building, and it was catching on, and I'm so thankful for that. But I'm also even eager to see what's going to happen when we start really attacking with that marketing. So this is like the calm before the storm right now, and I'm happy to kick it off with this group.
Yeah, definitely. So right now, I think you're at almost like a breaking point, right? Because now you're seeing the volume coming in at 1.2, and through tax, you guys able to accumulate some, marketing and development money. I'm assuming for sure at 1.2 million. Well, at least you have more than you did before, for sure, right?
Yeah, we took a very interesting approach. In the beginning, we actually launched with a 0% buy-sell tax. And I was a little hesitant at first because I was like, well, wait a second, how do we make money? But that strategy really helped us drive up the volume and build up a community. And we always disclosed that, eventually after 14 days post-launch, we will have to turn on a tax. But one of the things that I pride myself on, and that our community knows well, is that we all have a role in how this, progresses. Without a community, there's no project. So I always like to make sure that there's involvement there. And so with being, KYC'd, doxed, having that SAFU badge in the audit, I also like to pride myself on that founder transparency and community voting, and from discussing with our community the plans that we have moving forward, and also being very transparent about the fact that it's time for this token to make some money so that we can, push out even more marketing and to continue developing our utility beyond what it already is. We need to find something reasonable in this space. And so we've since then, as of this past Monday afternoon, actually, we implemented a buy tax of 3% and a sell tax of 5%. And so this week we've been able to generate a pretty decent chunk of funds that we're going to put back into the marketing and the development of version 2 of our app. So it's really taking off now, and we've elevated now that we have implemented that.
Yeah, I think it's actually necessary. Very important that you guys do have some marketing, strategies or money through the tax. Right. And even if you right now 3%, 5%, it's actually fairly low compared to other projects that I see, out there. So it's actually very, very healthy. Now, can you do a quick breakdown, since we're on that topic right now? The 3% tax, what is that allocated to, and the 5% as well?
So of the 3% tax, 2% goes to our marketing and 1% goes to our development. And then with the sell, 3% goes to marketing, 2% goes to development. We know, and we have already version 1 of our mobile app. It's, functioning in both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. But down the road, our goals are to have that wallet connectivity for it. However, we know right now that our priority needs to be marketing and building up and bringing in this community. And so our marketing allocation is a 2-to-1 ratio of that buy and sell tax right now. So that's how we have that broken up.
Awesome. And I love the strategy, in the beginning, how you mainly focus on the community and the engagement and bringing people in. And now that you have established a bit, now it's time for to do the tax properly to get the marketing money. I think that's crucial. And I think, like I said, the 3%, 5%, very healthy. That's something that it doesn't hinder anyone. People are not going to look at it like, oh man, that's too high, right? Now, what is the highest tax you can have on your contract? Do you know that, Megan?
Yeah, so currently, and because our developer, he was able to go in and turn that tax on, we can't go above 12, and I wouldn't ever want to go above 12. I see projects out there with 12, and I understand, different projects have different purposes and different plans down the line, but I really want to keep the tax as low as possible, because if one of our missions is to provide equal access to education, then I also want there to be equal access to our token too. And looking at what our roadmap consists of and looking at what our plans are and what the budget needs to be to achieve that in a timely manner, we are able to make that happen with a buy 3% and sell 5%. That is on the lower end, and we're able to just meet our marks there. But again, and I don't know if this is rare or not. I'm building this for a community. I'm not building this for myself. And I think that our community comes first. And I just always keep going back to saying that this project wouldn't exist without a community. And so when I do ask for community feedback, I get a lot of feedback from people saying, maybe a year or 2 years ago, nobody would bat an eye at a 12% buy sell tax. But that's not really what our market's like right now. And so I want to be able to still look really appeasing and for people to see, oh, that's actually, a bargain to get into, but also still showing people not only is that tax low, but it's enough to, pursue and push out the plans that they have. So people aren't thinking, oh, it's so low that nothing can be accomplished. We found that kind of sweet spot with the buy 3, sell 5. But I don't foresee us ever wanting to go crazy and hike up taxes, because that's just not what we stand for. And I want to make sure that I abide by that, because I think similar to what we were saying, when we launched with a 0% tax, we were going off of, trust and learning about who we were as a project. And so I want to make sure that I always live up to that in our community.
Yeah, I had a chance to look through the contract. It's actually very nice and clean. And Thanks. Even at the 12%, I think that's not an issue at all. Even 12% for the max that you guys are going to do it, if you need to, that's not a risk there at all, actually, to be honest with you. We've seen projects like 49%, and I was like, no. So gosh,
yeah. And if that's what they need to push out their plans, then that's that. Yeah, I don't know if I could ever justify that. And I've always, outlined in our group too, that before any sort of decisions like that would ever be made, it would have to be disclosed to our team. I already, put my face out there to them all the time. Like, they know who I am and what I'm doing. And so, any sort of decisions like that, I'm always making sure to be transparent and disclose everything with our community. So if there ever needed to be a situation like that, there would always be a discussion with it too. But it's interesting to see how, the taxes are different amongst different projects, but, I guess they all have different things that they need to pay for to get done. So, and our community is receptive to the tax that we have now. So.
Right. And there are developers out there that have different motives as well. So,
right. Yeah. No,
unfortunately, but we see that happen all the time, right? So,
right.
So at 12%, it's healthy for the max. All right. So also, I do see that you guys, your LP has been locked up by Pink, and it is for a year, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Awesome. And it looks like you guys did also get an audit by Interfi, and there's no critical issues, no major issues at all.
Yep. Yep. And then our developer, actually, he is one of the preferred SAFU Badge developers for Pink SAIL. And that was something that I wanted to make sure that we invested in for that safety and security, on top of the audit and the KYC, as well as making sure that, that's somebody who's advertised on Pink SAIL as one of their trusted developers, just to give community members that reassurance that we're going with somebody who is bound to these safety measures for the projects that they're building out. So,
yeah, definitely. Actually, your developer, Trinos, I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly, but he's been around, and he is pretty. He's known in the space. But you guys did get the SAFU badge from Pink SAIL too, so that's just an extra measure.
Yep. And we know it's fairly new, but we wanted to make sure we were on the forefront of having anything that can give people reassurance during this market.
Awesome. Now, you guys recently have been listed on CMC and CoinGecko, right? And I saw
almost CoinGecko, unless it just happened. We're very close with that one. But yeah, the coin market cap, that happened earlier than we could have expected, and it was. I mean, I was celebrating like it was Happy New Year's. Like, I was running around like thrilled, And we're listed on crypto.com as well.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I saw your video on Telegram celebrating, as if you won like a mega million or something.
It's what it felt like. It felt like the lottery to me to get that notification and follow the fast tracks and to see our name. I'm like, wait a second, did it really just happen? And it happened. And I mean, that just from there, that was just took off.
Right. Yeah, I think that definitely pushed you guys up there as well. In fact, actually, when I was actually reading about your project last night, and it went all-time high, and saw the big drop there, and I posted it, and it went up again, and it did all-time high again after that, and I was like, wow, So yeah, the chart is actually very healthy. So I think right now 1.2, it's pretty much just gonna stay there. Great job, Megan. Great job thus far.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's exceeded my expectations at this point, and I'm just very thankful. So
awesome. All right. So now let's get into the apps.
Yes.
All right. So I guess I'll let you lead the way. I guess the app is called Early Bird Learning for kids.
Yep. Yes, we developed the Early Bird mobile app. I was also, so much before entering the crypto space, was a lot on the business side. So I made sure that we acquired 3 different patents in the United States. We have one for our artificial intelligence, our Super Owl, which is named Saffron. It's kind of like the equivalent of a child-friendly Amazon Alexa or a Siri. And it's designed to have either texting or voice for a child to ask questions and receive real-time answers, but all of the responses are filtered and appropriate and kid-friendly, and that's something that we had to build out to make sure that, it was getting smarter and remembering different answers, and also understanding the vernacular of children and how they ask questions. Our second patent is with our gamified system that we have, the true learn to earn mentality, and the process in which a child plays in each of the levels, where they watch a video, they play a game, they take the test, and then they win. And a lot of that was developed through the same lens that I kind of had when I was building out lesson plans as a teacher and following that format. And so we were able to patent that. And then lastly is our augmented reality patent, where we have object detection, where right now it's a subscription based on feature on the app, but it's still very low price point. Again, we wanted to keep that as low as possible, especially for families during the pandemic that needed an additional educational support. A child can, open up their camera, scan an object, and receive quick facts about that object, but it's all written in child-friendly language. And so that's our third patent. Our trademark is for the actual OWL graphic itself being used for an educational technology piece that we've built. And then lastly, we received an SEC registration. So that's something I'm very, very proud of. We were registered on April 26th of 2022 officially. And since then we have been, covered all of our grounds on the, intellectual property side. And I know that having the SEC registration is something that was very valuable to us and very important to me too, to make sure that, we are a legitimate, organization beyond that. We also have a 501c3 early bird educational resources that we were thankful to have earned a grant for that could put tablets with early bird loaded onto it in our local community centers to start showing families in real time what this is and teaching them how the crypto component is being added to it. So the app is fully functioning. It's in the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and it's an award recipient for the Mom's Choice Award, July of 2021 for, it received a gold level award for best in family technology. And it received the KidSafe seal, which is backed by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, which their entity confirms that our app is safe for children to use and that there's no sort of, privacy breaches or anything like that that could be harmful to a minor. But from here, now that we've implemented the crypto aspect of it, we are going to be releasing version 2, which will be a web browser app where there will be direct one-to-one connectivity to the wallet to be able to actually earn SOWL tokens for the learning and the gaming that happens on the app. So that'll be coming next. And because that reaches beyond children, we'll have games that are also designed for, preteens, teenagers, adults, and, higher level learning as well. So expanding the games, expanding that age demographic, and the ability to literally learn and earn SOWL tokens is coming next.
Awesome. Wow. So you applied for 3 patents,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
That is awesome. And, we get a lot of projects in where it's, they're a registered entity, like an LLC, but you guys actually SEC register as well.
Yeah. I have it right here. So I took it out of its frame for tonight. But yeah, I wanted to make sure at the end of the day that our concept, because when there were different educational technology resources popping up left and right during the pandemic. And I said, the one thing I want to do is make sure that ours is secure and it cannot be duplicated or replicated. And so I went after the intellectual property ownership first and foremost, and then built upon it from there.
It's awesome. And you also did the trademark on that as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so for those that are listening, if a project or developer, if she or he is not committed to the project, they will not go to this extent. So, really appreciative. And it kind of shows the level of commitment that you have for the project and your community to go to this extent, because, the application for the patent and the trademark, especially the patent, very complicated. It's not cheap, right? It's a long process as well.
Right.
Because I have, filed a couple patents myself as well. I actually got a patent back in real life, so I know it's very costly. So I think that shows the level of commitment that you have for the project. So that's really awesome to see.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's definitely very important to me.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that with all this happening, you do have a registered entity as well, a business entity for the company. And is that all based on where you're at?
Yep. So we have Early Bird Educational Resources, and that is also headquartered in Maryland, where I reside. We actually also are looking with some potential new expansion. We do have registration in Vancouver as well, in Canada too. We know that being able to expand and become a global entity is something that is possible now. And so we were able to get registered there as well. So we have dual registrations in both the United States and in Canada.
Wow, very awesome. And congrats for the recognitions you have. And I do see a couple of awards that you spoke about, which is the Kids Safe Certified and the Mom Choice Award. So congrats on those.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So now you do have both on the apps, which is the Android, and also as far as Apple. Now, how many user do you know how many users on each platform, or how many downloads have you had, Megan?
Yep. So we actually, I would say Google Play, just because I think that worldwide there's a larger user base for Androids. Actively, we see around 300 users monthly, but over time we've had a couple thousand downloads with it. We also see that monthly revenue come in with the in-app purchases. We keep them very low, but they're all one-time downloadable levels. We keep them as low cost as we can. We have free unlocked levels, but there are additional premium levels that people can pay a one-time $1 fee to unlock it forever. And if you're a family, say of 3 or 4 kids, that one unlock can work for your entire family, which I wanted to make sure that, families had that opportunity. The in-app subscription-based services, which come with the artificial intelligence and the augmented reality, we have different price points for either 1 week. We have a 1 day pass, a 1 week pass, and a 1 month pass that are either $1.99, $4.99, or $9.99 a month. And we've seen different subscriptions happening on all of those. So the app itself had been generating revenue, and that's really what helped us kind of get to that point where we could have some funds for our pre-sale back in December, and then from there get our start too. So sitting around that figure for the Google Play, and then looking at around a little bit lower at 1,100 in the Apple App Store, but combined having around 3,000, 4,000, especially. And I would say right now, the fact that a lot of schools, or pretty much every school, is back in session, but to still see those active downloads, even when it might not be as prevalent or prominently used now that students are back in school, to still have those return and active users, I find really impressive, because early bird was never meant to replace school. And I always say that as a teacher, it should only be a supplemental resource, which it has been. And I'm happy to see that it still is, even when school is back in person in session full time. But once we add the wallet connectivity component and we're incentivizing that gameplay with the wallet connection, I think those numbers are going to really, really multiply, because who doesn't love a good incentive? And at least now that incentive comes not only with additional SOWL tokens being earned, but it comes with gaining knowledge. So you're getting so much out of it. It's not mindless gameplay. It's something valuable that you can take away from it, which is what I'm excited to see come to fruition very, very soon.
Yeah, definitely. I think just a sector to earn alone, right? Like we see that play to earn is very popular, but now you actually have an actual purpose, right? Like a real life purpose, which is education. So if you incentivize it, which is what you guys are doing right now, yeah. I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be big, especially other parts of, not just in America, but especially over especially over the Asias, and that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because the dollars, right? The dollar goes a long way over there. So yeah. So it's huge. It's huge over there.
Yeah.
So awesome. So you guys will continue to. So currently, right now, for your games, just mainly for kids right now. But like you said, you guys will try to target, continue to develop, and trying to hit different demographics. Correct?
Yeah. So we are currently marketed towards children. However, since we've developed, those children have grown. And so we want the app to really kind of grow with them and to offer levels beyond that. I'm also very thankful that we were able to establish a SOWL Ambassadors program, where we have a couple different representatives in different countries, so that as we are expanding these levels, we're also making sure that they are able to be translated, not just in the way that you can do Google Translate, but to actually make sure that conceptually and culturally, these different levels make sense in other areas of the world. So we have a representative in the Philippines. We have somebody building out our Greek immersion program. We also have Chinese ambassadors, an ambassador in India, South Africa, and we're just in Spain. And so we worldwide representatives who are also telling me the different core concepts that you might be learning with the Common Core State standards in the United States might not be exactly what we need over here in Asia. Here are the core principles we're looking at. So not only are we expanding the levels to reach older children and even young adults and adults too, because nothing is stopping an adult from continuing education in a new concept that maybe they want to pick up now, but also making sure that these different levels are aligned with cultures around the world too, so that everyone can feel like SOWL was made for them and it was made to help them in their community better and further their education.
I love that. I love that. It seems like you are very mindful of different cultures and different countries. And so you guys did some, research did some research into it. So I think that's actually very crucial, especially when you're trying to do business around the world, right? What you guys are trying to do. So I think that's actually very, very crucial. But another element into gaming is that they find that when you play games, it helps with memories. So for you to actually incentivize that through learning, I think it's going to be, if implemented correctly, I think it's going to be big.
Thank you. That's our main goal, is making sure that everything that users are doing to earn those SOWL tokens is mindful and impactful. We don't want it to just be something where someone can just be scrolling and not even paying attention and just doing it to earn tokens. We want it to have that sort of purpose behind it too. And I think that also makes sure that everyone knows that people are earning them in a real and legitimate way as well. So that's something that we are really making sure is being built in version 2 of the app.
Yeah. So I think, like you're very mindful of that. But I think if you, looks like you guys are doing research, you have people in place. You able to put out a game that can resonate with different cultures and different countries. I think it's going to be massive, right?
Yes.
Because who doesn't want their kids to play a game and learn at the same time, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I agree. I think, and it could be something that's life-changing for an entire family. Who doesn't want to learn more and earn more? So I'm excited.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's it can be life-changing for a lot, a lot of different corners of the world. So it's massive. It's massive. All right, sounds good. Now, Megan, I do see staking on your tokenomics, and I did not see anything regarding staking on the website. Could you speak on that a bit?
Yes, and that's actually something that we are very thankful that we just received an opportunity to learn a little bit more about. So as we're kind of going through and adding on to our roadmap that's on our website, our roadmap stops kind of short, but now that we've had this great success up until this point, we can expand it. And part of that expansion is not only being able to have the token rewards in the gameplay, but having the option to stake those rewards too. And part of the reason that we wanted to establish that is, to really keep the longevity of the project. I know I had mentioned earlier, I don't want to be one of those tokens that has its 15 minutes of fame and then people talk about it as an afterthought. And so having the option to stake those rewards, I hope not only incentivizes the use of the app, but also being able to hold on to that supply and to stake it there. So we're in the early stages. We're looking at a couple other different projects that are out there right now, and potentially even partnering with a few of them to see how we can collaborate and build out our projects together to make this something, a massive co-op of sorts of how we can really support and incentivize our users. But that's something very early that we're thankful that we have a great lead on. And I think it's going to elevate our play to earn into something even bigger. So we're looking at having that come out too with version 2. So we're very excited for that.
So thanks for bringing up the roadmap, because that's what I was going to ask you, because it does end on Q4. And like looking through the roadmap, you guys pretty much checked off everything prior to that. So good job on that.
Thank you.
I do see a 8% treasury. Can you go in detail on that? What is that for?
Yep. So our team and advisory has the 8%, but our treasury, which will be for the 8%, that's coming into knowing that while our team is so hardworking, like I had said earlier, they wear a lot of hats. And part of, I think this also goes into our roadmap stopping at Q4. We didn't know where our launch was going to go at this point in this market with the funds that we had, with our previous delayed launch in December and then starting now in October. Now that we have been so fortunate to be at this level, we know that we need to expand beyond this. We need to be able to expand our team beyond this as well. And so those funds that are coming out of that treasury go to the people that we are onboarding beyond our team. Our team was already fixed and set. And one thing I always wanted to make sure was that that token supply, that was clear cut and transparent with the team members that we launched together with. However, I always knew that there was going to be a time where we could expand and that it was important for us to have no more than what the team was having, but also keeping it equal there. So that 8% treasury, that's going to be going towards any additional people that we need to onboard onto our team. Currently, right now, it's going to be for a third app developer. We also have a full-time marketer that we're bringing on board with us who's starting with us next week, and I'm very excited for that. But all of that is, and it's also currently locked right now too, but we have that getting unlocked on November 4th. And by that point, we will have been able to assess and see how our projects performed. And I wanted to keep that locked for that reason, because I just, for the safety and transparency for the community, I didn't want there to be free range and access to that. But now that we've been able to expand to this point, that will be able to be unlocked and go towards those additional people that we're able to onboard. So I'm excited for that.
I like that. You know, in real business, you have to do the same thing, right? You always got to have some emergency funds in order to for unexpected situations or to continue to develop, right? It's the same thing. So actually, I do like that. I did not know what that was for, but yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sounds good, Megan. I think we pretty much cover everything. Is there something else that you want to speak on before we take questions?
I think I'm not only I'm thankful to be in this community, but I am so beyond thankful for the community we've been able to develop for the SOWL token. I'm in a lot of different crypto groups, and it's rare that you see one where, you know, everyone's truly there for the same mission. And to have our community members in there talking about cool ideas for new levels for the game, or, oh, hey, my kid was just playing on the app and they love the car racing game where they have to, you know, collect all the letters of the alphabet. Like these are real people, and we're all kind of building this together, and it's doing exactly what education is meant to do. And it's meant to, you know, better yourself, but better other people as well. So I think the use case that we had from the very beginning is showing itself now. And I'm really thankful to have us be here at this point and to be authentic from day one, and to always make sure that we, you know, stick to our goals, objectives, and morals and principles of the entire company and project. So I look forward to continuing that and seeing, you know, where we go in the next 17 days post-launch. So very, very fortunate, very blessed to be at this position right now.
Yeah, I mean, you went through a lot of hurdles, especially given the fact that you guys did not have a big pre-sale, a private sale pre-sale, and starting with a 67K market cap, now it's sitting at 1.2. So I think, you know, what you have accomplished so far, I think that's reflective of your passion and your commitment. You know, not a lot of people can say do that, especially from 67K. I wish I knew about the project early on. I would be sitting pretty right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, every one of the every one of the odds were against us, but I was like, you know what? I've got nothing but this. So let me put it all out there, and it worked. And I'm so thankful for that. But yeah. So I mean, you know about it now. So who knows where it can go from here, right?
I think it has a lot of potential. I think as long as you stay committed, which it seems like you're very committed to the project, and stay, have that passion throughout. It seems like you do, because a lot of people would have given up. To be honest with you, it's a lot of hurdles that you went through. So I think the potential is there's no limit to this potential, right? Seems like you have thought about everything, very mindful about different countries, different culture, and you have people in place already. So I think that speaks a lot about you and your almost business experience. You have a master in what do you have in education? Is that what you had on?
It's a master's in education with a concentration in classroom technology.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you think like a business person. I'm a business person myself, but it seems like you cover almost every single angle. And I definitely see that, especially with the treasury as well, to set aside in, just for the unforeseen situation. A lot of projects do not have that, right? So, yeah, great job, Megan. I think you've done a great job so far.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Awesome. So I guess we're going to take some questions. So Mike's going to come on and he's going to read off. I see a bunch of questions in the community.
Okay.
All right, Mike, it's all yours, brother.
Alrighty. That was an amazing AMA there, Megan. I really appreciated that. It was quite the presentation. It's very thorough, I should say. So before I get into a couple of text questions, I always like to ask the community, if you'd rather ask your question on voice, please feel free to do so. I'll give you a couple of seconds here to unmute yourself. If not, I'll jump into these text questions, which there is quite a few.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. My first question is, I was wondering with regard to learn to earn. So, are there any specific hour in the day that allocated to the child or kids perhaps the time, and can be allocated to learning on the mobile according to the age of the child or kid? And also, will there be a specific time to use e-learning in your project?
So once we have, and thank you so much for that question. So once we are fully implementing version 2 of the app, anyone will have access to it at any point. We know that no matter what area of the world that you're in, there's going to be a time for learning no matter what. So we will always be able to announce throughout our communities. We have our main group, but we also have a couple of different groups for different regions as well. We always plan to announce when new levels come out, and when everything is out and ready for people to start utilizing. But it will always be open for access for anybody to play whenever they would like to. Learn to earn at any point in the day.
Okay, that's awesome idea. And I have another question: is what is exactly the module in application you talked about your white paper? There are argumentary on reality, artificial intelligence, and gamification. So how do you put the gaming side by side in the learning process in the way earned from it?
I think I missed a little bit of the end there. Were you asking about the different learning model that we have? Do I have that correct?
Yes. Gamification, artificial intelligence, augmented reality.
So the questions about the learning model and how the educational games are going to be structured, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yep. So similar to what we already have in version 1 of the app, we have 4 core principles. And the first one is watching, which includes a different interactive video about whatever core principle a child's learning about, whether it's reading, arithmetic. We even have levels that go as far as finding out core ways to communicate and have conversations. And so social norms, watching a video on that, playing one of the games that also ties into that core principle, having a little 10-question quick quiz or test at the end to test that knowledge. And then based on your skill performance on that, if it's deemed that you've mastered that level, then the fourth element is earning and collecting those SOWL tokens. So watch, play, test, earn are the 4 different stages of each of the levels and the principles of our gaming model.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for the answering. And wish you best of luck. And your presentation was awesome.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate that there, Rayhan. So the way you said that there, you watch, play, earn. Watch, play, test, earn. So does that mean if you were having to fail that test, do you not earn?
So based on your, success in that testing model at the end, there are different ways to earn or different amounts you can earn on those different tiers of mastery. And so those different mastery levels are displayed in the directions at the very beginning, saying, if you're able to get this many correct, this is what you'll earn. This many, this is what you'll earn. Sometimes, we're also looking at in version 2, if there's, bonuses that can be earned for routine success and going through and still playing through them. So we took a lot of that model from the United States Common Core background of being able to show that you've effectively mastered a concept. And we don't want somebody to feel like they're unsuccessful or that they don't want to be discouraged if there's a concept that they can't grasp. So if they didn't reach that full mastery, they're still at maybe tier 1, that encourages them, let me go back and play the game some more. And then once I'm done playing the game, take the test again and see if I can earn those additional tokens that I didn't get the last time. And so it's designed that way to not only make sure that somebody's learning that core concept and actually getting something out of our app, but it's also giving them that opportunity to go back and earn tokens and to stay on our project too. So it's kind of a win-win between us and the user as well.
I like that. Very straightforward. Now, is there a daily capped limit one person could earn?
That's a very good question. So we currently have on our locked schedule that we have 2% of our supply coming out every 30 days designed for that token reward system. We're going to be looking at that, engaging and basing those analytics off of whether or not we need to either scale it down or expand, because we know, of course, first month, we could run through that really fast. And we're looking at that and making sure, are we going to have that additional? And that's also where that treasury comes into that 8%. I kind of look at it as like treasury, but also reserves or reinforcements. And so I wanted to make sure we had that for situations like this, where we're expanding a lot faster than we had anticipated. We have that as backup, and then we can kind of gauge from there how many tokens need to be available for that token rewards, and making sure that our algorithm is built out not only to ensure that everybody has an equal opportunity to learn and earn and stake those earnings, but it's also designed to only have that one-to-one wallet connectivity. And the API that our developers are working on is also making sure that what we're building out is also aligned with the safety and security of our contract, to make sure that there's no sort of manipulation of one wallet, just, looking like they're like this mastermind genius overnight and scooping them all up. So we're taking a lot of preventative measures and security measures, and making sure that our utility and our play to earn is one that is legitimate, realistic, and an equal opportunity for all. So that's what we're also working on, making sure we have that too.
Awesome. Appreciate that. So I know your SOWL token here is based off of Learn to Earn. Is there any other type of utility that you plan to maybe encompass into the ecosystem later on?
Yeah, so now that, with our main utility part being that play to earn, that is what we really would like to be our claim to fame, is taking play to earn and evolving it into learn to earn, but it's, still having that fun incentive to it. However, when you're looking at some of the different levels that we have, they also involve different characters. We have our OWL, but there's other characters in the levels too. And we said, why can't we expand beyond just having the token? So something we're actually looking at having in our entire SOWL ecosystem is an NFT gallery of these different OWL characters that somebody could have as well. So we want to really make sure that the opportunities are endless and that we're also giving people opportunities to earn with these different characters. You're customizing your learning experience while also learning about what NFTs are and just having more opportunities. So that's down the road as well. But I think that any opportunity to be able to customize your learning experience and to have that ownership of your own super OWL or SOWL is something that we're looking at having too. But right now, our main utility and goal is to have those learn to earn features and to also implement the staking beyond those rewards as well.
Perfect. So the next community question here I'm seeing is, learn to earn, the use of cryptocurrencies is not yet widespread in the world. So what plans do you have to attract communities that are unfamiliar with cryptocurrency to your project?
I love that question. So of the 12 levels that we currently have on the Early Bird app, we would like to expand that in version 2 with a lot of different core concepts and principles, one of which being a level that teaches people about cryptocurrency. I will say looking and kind of just doing a sampling and a poll of people that we know on a personal level. And, if I go to these various in-person conferences and ask people about education and cryptocurrency, I would say right now that our user base, there is a handful of them that like using the app simply as a learning mechanism and that they don't really know much about cryptocurrency. However, it's something that we know isn't going away. We know, decades ago when we started coming out with, debit cards, people were like, no, this isn't cash. What is this card? What's the chip? But they're all here and they're still here. And so I really tell people, look, cryptocurrency is not going away. So why not learn about it in a way that's fun and interactive? And so one of our levels will be learning about crypto. And I would like to market that level as being one of the first ones that people play if they're not familiar with cryptocurrency, so that they can join this community and see the benefits beyond it just being an educational resource. So much of our marketing, not just for the token, but for the actual utility itself, is going to come through a lot of informative YouTube videos. I've already been on 2 different podcasts where we were talking about it, and those have a pretty large listenership of parents. Having the Mom's Choice Award and the Kids Safe Seal, they also push out to their communities what we are. And so that has them kind of diving in and saying, well, wait, how is it related to cryptocurrency? Many of them only know what Bitcoin and Ethereum are. And they're like, hang on a second, this can be a cryptocurrency too. And so getting that conversation started first and making that in itself a learning experience is how we're planning to market that out to users who may not know how cryptocurrency can be in the educational marketplace. But to answer your question about the learn to earn phrase, I think that we can really play up on how so many people know what play to earn is. And so still kind of taking that term and marketing and twisting it a little bit, I think it'll be very eye-catching for people to see that it's slightly different now with a little twist, but even more benefits to it.
Exactly. If you were to, zoom out of crypto in a whole, we are still very early in crypto in general. So there's still so much to learn. And like you said early on in the AMA, everything is so changing all the time, so fast in crypto, and it's so much to keep up on. And it's just such a bright future for everybody in crypto. As long as you can get with the right communities, with the right teams, the sky's the limit, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So the next question I have here, Megan, from AZK from the community is, I like the concept of learn to earn, which is open to groups of all ages. I think that's absolutely wonderful. I would like to know what kinds of things are being taught in the learn to earn, and will they be crypto knowledge, or will it span across various topics like math, science, computer science, etc.?
Awesome. So as I was in the early stages of developing the mobile app, I had a group of beta testers where to a bunch of little kids and seeing really what they needed to learn, but also wanted to learn. And so we had the core principles of, reading, writing, arithmetic. We have science, shapes, colors, but then we went beyond that too. And the reason I decided to kind of take that leap and go beyond that is because we saw firsthand that there were families where parents had to go and work much longer hours during the pandemic. And as saddening as that was, there were concepts that, some children weren't able to really have experience with. And those are concepts such as social norms, like having, polite conversations with other people, finding ways to remember different pieces of information, such as your, where you're from and your geographical location, how to remember a phone number. I can remember growing up and my parents teaching us, if there's ever a fire, you run to this stop sign at the end of the street. But kids nowadays, sometimes they might not have that opportunity to learn that with their family. The one thing I made sure of, though, is that the levels in our game, you can kind of pick them a la carte. You do not have to do all of the different levels. You don't have to beat level 1 to go to level 2. You can pick the different subject or content areas that you are either interested in or that your parents are interested in for a child. We had some parents who said, wow, like this is a game that can help my child remember my phone number. Because we're working with children, our privacy policy and the policies of both Google and Apple say that we cannot collect data on anyone, below the age of 13. So we aren't storing any of that. But if a parent goes in and bypasses, that security measure where they can go and put in their phone number into the game, and then their child is completing the game that helps them teach, it teaches them and helps them remember their mother's phone number in case they ever had an emergency, then that parent just had that little extra boost to help teach their child. But we also know that perhaps a family said, you know what, I'm going to teach them that on my own. And that's fine too, because then they opt for, oh, well, my child could really use a little bit of extra assistance learning their different colors. And then we have a game for that. So I wanted to be able to reach as many different needs as possible, because so many families have different, needs and wants, and being able to cater to even more people just means that we're going to have an even larger community. So to answer that question, yes, core educational principles, also different social norms, also crypto education and beyond. I mean, we look at platforms like Udemy, Coursera, Masterclass, and there are thousands of different concepts on there. And the sky's the limit when it comes to different topics that, we can have. And to have our community members already contributing to a couple of these concepts is really exciting for us too. So we're looking forward to it.
Truly amazing. So same person. Second question is about your gaming here. Your learn to earn aspect of the gaming. So I know you were pretty fluent on what you just discussed there on what will be there, but will there be any action strategy-based or board games in the learning teaching, or is it completely just for learning, young educational minds in a sense?
Yeah, so currently version 1 is appealing to the young educational minds, but version 2 is when we expand into having different levels and different objectives for multiple age ranges. That's also going to come with being able to kind of travel along these different levels and pick and choose which of the levels you want to complete to learn to earn. So it will expand into those measures as well. We'll still have the version 1 app available, and for some people that might be what they're happy with using, or that can be their trial round until they're ready to learn about the cryptocurrency side of it. But again, just appealing to multiple different audiences means that we do have to expand those levels and those offerings that were asked in that question. So yes, we do have plans for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Actually, same person. They have a few more questions here. Let's see. Will this project be similar to the other online educational platforms where one may get a certificate on completion of the courses taken? And will the other users need to pay a fee to have a full access to your platform?
So with version 2, you will not have to pay a fee. You will just need to have a wallet that can connect if you want to do the earning features that are available. So that's just the wallet connectivity is all that will be required there. We are actually working with a couple different local entities right now in the DMV area of the United States first, and also in the Philadelphia area, working with different local community colleges and seeing, what kind of certifications they're providing, but also looking at a couple different job training centers and how, the 4-year college path isn't necessarily the traditional route that people take after they graduate high school anymore. However, there are a lot of different concept certifications that are required or really help somebody when applying for a job. And so looking at what those certifications are and seeing how our registered business can become one that can authorize and distribute certification like that from completing these levels in here is something that we're looking at right now. And part of what those in-person meetings are like that I'm having in addition to our online one, that it is a process to make sure that your course is approved. And I'm thankful that I have that in the lesson plan writing and the unit writing as well to show that from, start to finish, the core concepts and objectives that are achieved, but also what level of mastery in the game indicates that they fully know this concept to the extent that they can receive a certificate for it that can help them in their career after the fact and serve as professional development for adults as well. So we're looking at all of that.
Very good. And lots of data to intake, I could imagine.
Oh, I don't even want to show you the Excel spreadsheets I have right. There's just so many numbers, but they all which is what matters. So yeah, lots of research, lots of data, and it's all very valuable. So yeah.
Well, I could only imagine. Yes, I have to agree. It must be all truly, what's that word? Priceless on the teaching there. So last question from AZK here is, on your Learn to Earn, is there any sort of anti-cheating system that you guys will be implementing into it?
Yep. And so that's part of what our, and that's part of the reason we're actually hiring a third developer is because we want to cross-check everything. I'm very happy to have such a, trustworthy long-term relationship with developers, but I also think it's important to have multiple, not too many, but to have multiple different, pieces of input and just cross-checking and cross-verifying to make sure that what we're building is safe. So in having three developers on that, they are making sure that the actual wallet connectivity there is secure and safe as well, and making sure that we are not allowing for any sort of token manipulation to occur because, and I'm sure part of that you see in our audit for our contract includes, making sure that we have those safety and security measures so that none of that can happen, because we want learning to be something that is fun and also an incentive without hurting others in the process or hurting the project itself. So that's something that we're taking very, very seriously. And that's probably the forefront of what our developers are working on right now.
I love that, man. I tell you, if I could only earn while I learn growing up, I tell you.
Imagine. Yeah, I'm excited to see what it can do to really, change the world of education. I've seen so many different phases of education that we've gone through, and just knowing that this could be a totally new wave and to be on the forefront of that is something that I'm very, very eager and excited for.
100%. There's a few other, Learn to Earn, people out there, but I haven't seen one do it right yet. I haven't, so I'm kind of excited to see, what you guys are doing, and targeting the young audience there really pushes you above a lot right away. It really does. everybody wants to come out with the the play to earn, the learn to earn of things that are relevant to actually an educational piece in a sense. Mm-hmm. It really is. All right, so Diamond Hands has a question here from the community. Says, let's see, most projects are currently short of breath due to lack of experience on the roadmaps. Can you list some of the outstanding characteristic points of your project that differentiates you from the competitors? And what other type of competitors are there out there against you?
All right. Well, I would say that something that made us stand out is that we already had a fully functioning utility before our token launched. I think that, sometimes, especially in this market, it's really hard to invest in a dream or in a vision, and a roadmap can say anything, but to not have that product behind it already can be scary sometimes, but it's, of course, a risk that people take in investing in projects. But I think having the actual utility developed and functioning beforehand is something that makes us stand out. I think us having the three different patents and the trademark and SEC registration prior, also, like you had mentioned earlier, shows that we did our due diligence and our dedication to this project by going through those measures of acquiring those, because that also provides us with that security that our project cannot be, replicated or duplicated and coined as the same concept that we have with the same features. And so I guess that kind of goes into the competitors. There obviously are thousands and thousands of play to earn crypto, projects out there, and learn to earn is something that I'm not the only person that has, created something for that. However, being able to have the gamified aspect and to not only cater to children, but to teenagers and adults and beyond, and making the SOWL token one that is appealing to each individual in their own particular way is not something that I've seen. We don't want, the SOWL token to be, a one size fits all, like this is it, and you got to find something in it that works for you. We want it to be something that can be personalized and special to each person, because that's something I learned as a teacher too. No two students are the same. No two people learn the same way. So why should we have one standard way of doing things on our project when we can have multiple different avenues that people can benefit and gain from? And so while that is a lot of extra work, it's something that I think is going to pay off in the long run and already has. So being able to differentiate our gaming and reach a wider audience is something that I believe will truly allow us to stand out amongst any competition out there.
I love it. Which brings me right back to me saying I would not want to see your data sheets. There must be so much. All right. So Blue Eyes has a question here as well from the community. As we all know, the community plays a vital role to make a project successful. So I would like to know, what community events are you organizing to reach a larger audience of investors, and will you be implementing any sort of DAO options to include the community into the project development?
That's a great question. Some of the in-person community events that I've had are with two organizations that are actually very special to our community, or to our team and the families of our teams. If anybody in this group is familiar with both the organization No Kid Hungry and the Ronald McDonald Houses of the United States, just a little background, they offer housing and food and services to families when their children are undergoing a lot of dire surgeries or health complications, and they're all located near hospitals. My nephew and his family lived in a Ronald McDonald House for the first year and 3 months of his life, and I want to be able to give back to them by, again, like the local community centers, offering tablets and offering sessions there where families who are going through those hardships don't have to worry about having that time to consume gaming or to get their mind off of things. And while they're getting their mind off of something like a hardship like that, they're learning and they're earning, which is one of the big, financial strains that a family might face during that time. So working with them, working with No Kid Hungry, and also being able to host, different online webinars and platforms for families too, to help them learn about cryptocurrency and learn how to earn. This is a token, but some of them need to learn how to earn, and really see that this is a pathway that can be so beneficial in so many different ways and be life-changing for families. And so we have those that we're really, working on pushing out. And one of our big main goals for 2023 that's going to be added to our roadmap is that community outreach online, but also in person too.
Exactly, yeah. And just like you were saying there are so many people out there that you can pretty much figure out how to trade the larger coins out there, but you ask the most average person out there in the crypto that does trade those things, what's PancakeSwap? They're like, what? How do you trade on that? It's a whole different animal to play in the DeFi space and all that. So if you can incorporate all that into the learning, that's key. It really is key, because there is such mass adoption that still needs to happen for learning how to trade in the crypto space in general. Let's see. Diamond Hams has another question here. Wants to know if you have a anti-whale mechanism or a max wallet %.
Yes. So we wanted to make sure, and I know, I believe if you can go on and scan to make sure, we can't have a honeypot, and that's part of a thing that, Trinos, our developer, said, when you hire me, these are all of the different points that I need to comply by. And I want to make sure that before I work with you, you are somebody who wants a project built out like this, because, we have, there's projects out there that the contracts are built really fast and sometimes don't have those protective measures. So we made sure to have, the anti-whale, anti-bot, all in everything to make sure that we're aligning with the same mission and goals that we have. If we are promoting education and promoting this positive and impactful use case that we have, we need to make sure that our code backs it up. So we made sure to implement that as well.
Perfect. So I see that you also have a reach out, to the bilingual community. What languages and communities of across the world have you been able to onboard so far?
I've got to give a big shout out to our Chinese community. I think, they have expanded, and I believe they're at like 700 members now in their group. And they, I'm checking now, actually, 780 members. And I'll tell you that the people that are operating that, they're volunteering and doing that because they believe in this project, and I'm very fortunate for them. And it's been incredible because it's great to have moderators, and the moderators that I have in my main group, they're all able to pop into these other groups and make sure everything is streamlined and that the information across these different regional communities are all the same, and that everyone's fully transparent and understanding the progress that we're making. So not only do we have a Chinese community in addition to our main group, but we also have SOWL India and we have SOWL Turkey as well. And we're looking to expand even beyond that. There's so many different groups, and we've already had some people reach out to us about starting a different regional group as well for the SOWL token. So I set up all of those communities initially, and anyone that's interested in kind of helping to spearhead that and share that, I kind of give them a crash course and a quick little lesson together where we hop on a call and I explain to them, what our goals are, what we're looking for, and really how we want to make sure that if we are starting these other communities, I would like for them to join the main one as well, so that they truly learn and know what this project is. Sometimes people join groups and they don't really know what's going on. They might just see your chart and say, whoa, like, what is this? But I think it's important to be able to really understand what we are, what our goals are, and then beyond that, having really, really great moderators in those groups that can also come back to me and say, hey, as you're expanding version 2 of your app, this is what our community would really like to see in our country or in our region. And so I find that branching out and having those different groups is very beneficial to us.
Oh, well, that's quite a reach. I love that. So, are you able to implement those different languages into your app and learning, your Learn to Earn rather, as well?
Yep. So in version 1 of our game right now, we have 13 different language translations, but we're making sure that when we're building out the web browser version, all of the text that's on the actual gaming platform on the web browser app is able to be translated. So I'm sure if you see, like, when you go on websites, sometimes you can click that little pop-up that says to translate. And so we're making sure to have that, because the more people that we can reach and that they can feel that it's catered to them, the more users we're going to end up having.
Exactly it. Mass adoption is the way. Next question is from CrypToken here. Let's see, SOWL is just speaking solely about giving back to the community. I'm just curious, how does the team make the money? Is it in the project, the taxes, or where does that come from?
That's a great question. So I know from the very beginning, I said that, building out the app was a self-funded and passion project with a couple community contributors as well, family and friends who believed in what I was building. And so looking at how our team makes money, we have, and you'll see this on our tokenomics breakdown, our team has 8% of the supply. And I wanted to be modest with it. I know that sounds kind of, I don't, other projects I know are very different, but I know that without a community, we wouldn't have a project. So when that tax does come in and we have the portion that goes to the marketing, the portion that goes to the development, full transparency of that development fund, because I serve as that project manager and make sure that I'm explaining to our developers what needs to happen and what is being built. Of that, the 1% of the buy and then the 2% of the sell, I'm making sure that after our developers are paid in full, anything that's left over, honestly, I personally am putting a lot back into this project. And so I haven't, I'm not sitting, I'm sitting here in my same office that I've been sitting in since I was teaching in the pandemic. And, just making sure that our team members are compensated for their work is something that comes out of the 8% token supply that's going to be unlocked. It's not unlocked yet. So full transparency, any tokens that are going to our team are not unlocked yet. And we're all working and really, really striving hard to make sure that we are as successful as we can be until those are unlocked. So yeah, I want to be fully transparent about that. I didn't build this project to get rich. I built this project to change the world through education. And that's something that no matter whatever happens to the future of this project, I hope that, it does 100x. Of course, that would mean the world to me. But even right now, knowing that it's already changed so many other lives, I feel like I've earned something from that alone. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Even at the end of the day, I'm sure with the great morals of being in USA, even if you could educate these people and make $0 at the end of the day, what you could take home for the love of everything that you've done is just it could outpay anything that you could make in money in a sense. But don't get me wrong, we all like money.
We all have bills to pay, yeah. But I think that if just one person was reaping the benefits of something that's supposed to be educating thousands and thousands of people, that's not the SOWL token anymore. That's not the project anymore. So, I don't think that without the community, that $67,000 initial market cap wouldn't be breaking $1 million right now. So I don't have myself to thank for that. I have this entire community to thank for that. And that's something that I will always, always remember at the end of the day.
Awesome, Megan. All right, well, I'm sifting through a lot of the community's text here. Seems they are absolutely loving this AMA. There's a lot of hype going on in the chat right now. Let's see.
Hello.
I think. Oh, go ahead. Who's that? Let me see here. Crypto Son. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you, Share. My question is how to be content creator on your platform and how profit sharing mechanism.
Can you repeat the first part of your question after the first half of it?
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you just repeat the first part of your question, please?
Yes. How to be content creator on your platform, and how about profit sharing mechanism to content creator?
Yeah, so anyone who is interested in having a role, because we know that a lot of levels need to be expanded upon. If you're in our main community and you ask our Rose bot, you do the little backslash and you type proposal. It shows you which of our team members to send your proposal to, and you can explain what you can bring as a content creator, the ideas that you have to expand upon those levels. And then from there, we have all of those getting streamlined into one channel where we'll look through them and, drive up that conversation. We want to get through as many of those as we can, because we know that so many people can bring so many different ideas to the table. So just joining our community and seeing where you can submit that proposal to, that would be the first step. And then from there, we can, talk about, the different ideas and different concepts that you have. I hope that answers that question.
Thank you. My last question is about Learn to Earn. How many user your target and on first launch, and how do you team strategy to attract more user from other platform?
So currently, I think we are about to reach 1,000 holders. I haven't checked just recently, but I think we're getting kind of close to that area. So obviously I would love to have even more holders for that. I really think that, considering that we've, grown a Telegram community, I think we've broke like 4,000 in there. Generating more users, I think, is going to come from that word of mouth marketing and people explaining to their families, look, I'm playing this game, come play it with me. And then from there, so much of that marketing is happening. But to generate an even larger user base, a lot of the various marketing that we plan to do is through not just like the trending on the charts, because I think that does a lot of the focus of just the chart itself and not as much as the utility, but pushing out those different videos and hosting, community AMAs within our own group as well. We're saying, hey, invite a friend, bring a friend with you this time and, see what you can do. And having those community partnership events where even if just one person in your group brought another person in with them, I mean, just look at how you could double what's happening with this project. And so honestly, all of the marketing up until now has been talking to people, and it's been working pretty well to bring people in to use the app. And I think that as long as we keep doing that and we show people too, this is how it works, and we give a tutorial and we're teaching them how it goes and giving them that lesson, after you're taught a lesson, you go out and do it yourself. And I think from there, our user base is going to expand.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Meg. Sorry, my English is so bad.
Thank you so much for your questions.
Hello, can I go for question?
I appreciate that there, Crypto Sun. This is me99. Go ahead. You're live.
Okay, my question is in artificial intelligence integration that you are going to incorporate in your project. So I wanted to know that will take a whole lot of process of data labeling, and I just want to know, are you going to do by yourself on contract this to stand by your side or the other companies?
So we're going to keep working with the developers that we've had who started planning that out and building out that artificial intelligence in version 1 of the app. However, bringing in another developer or maybe even a fourth developer too, who can bring their expertise, can only make it stronger as well. So we have, they're not contracted through an agency, but they're developers that we've had a long standing relationship with. And then bringing in one, maybe two more beyond that is what we plan to do to build that out. And so it's been something that's been, in the process of being built since 2020, literally March 15th, 2020. And so we've done a lot of work on it to really tweak it and perfect it. And it's exciting to see, where it's grown to from here. And so we're more than likely going to bring on a fourth person into the mix too, just because we're expanding way faster than I had anticipated, which is not a problem, but it's just we need to definitely bring in some reinforcements for that.
Great idea. And my second question is, in Learn to Earn, mostly encourage children to learn a platform, and that most of the parents of the student they want their children to actually focus playing a game to make money, and also it's an eventually. So my question is, would there be a feature to toggle of the ending system?
Can you just say the last part of that question, please? Sorry, it cut out a little bit.
So would there be a feature to toggle off the ending system?
Yes, there is a feature to toggle off the crypto earning option, and that's something that we wanted to keep as an option, because at the end of the day, we know that we're appealing to so many different age groups, but giving parents that option to turn off the earning feature is something that we absolutely will keep as well. We want to be able to have it on for people that want to have that incentivized gameplay, but we also understand and want to appeal to as many different people as possible. So there will be a toggle on and off feature for that. Yep.
I have a small question. We know that many of us, we are not the familiar of the question or like a learn to earn project. So for those person or newbies, do you have any videos or a short tutorials for them to instruct them?
Yep. So part of what we're building out now, we're working with a couple different, creative content creators as well to build out how this works. So it's one thing to be able to download the app in the App Store and then to just start playing, but it's another thing to, if somebody's brand new to cryptocurrency, they don't know what a wallet address is. They don't know what MetaMask is or a Trust Wallet. You should have seen the face of a person when I told them to go check out our chart on PooCoin. They were like, what did you just call me? So all these different names and these different, the different terminology out there, we're planning on expanding our YouTube channel and having those different mini lessons on there to teach people how to learn to earn. And so that's part of what we're building out right now, and making sure that we can have almost like a mini series of classes on YouTube to teach them how they can do that. So that'll be coming soon as well.
That would be amazing, so that everyone will learn before learn to earn and game to earn. Thanks for your answering.
Yep, thank you.
All right, appreciate that. This is Me99. Does anybody else want to ask their questions on voice here before I kick it back to Seattle? This looks like we've gone through all of the text questions.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello.
Abraham, good to see you, brother.
Thank you very much. I actually had my Telegram restricted from public groups, so I couldn't really post. So I've been following the AMA from the beginning, and honestly, it is quite educative and informative, because most of my questions have already been answered. Only some came up later on. So when we're talking about the integration of the tokens into the learning aspect, I would like to confirm or get in specific some informations. This thing, the first one is the amount of tokens earned per learning. What would it be?
The amount of tokens that a person will earn through the different levels. Yep. So part of what our developers are building out right now, they're looking at, our circulating supply. They're looking at the locked amounts that we have right now. And just like how we're building out the different levels, we're also building out that different tiered structure of how much they earn. But what we also are taking into account is what when our chart, spikes up, and how we can make sure that the tokens being earned are also aligned with what the chart is doing too. So we're still on our roadmap. We're still in the process of building out what the different token earnings are. However, when a user goes to play on a certain level, they're going to see what that different tiered structure is. And we think that that's going to be pretty effective because, say, they see how many tokens they can earn if they get this many questions right, but they see how many tokens they can earn if they get this many questions right. It encourages them to stay on there and to keep playing to see if they can reach that highest level. So that's currently in the curriculum writing stage right now with version 2 of the app. And so once those are all kind of released, we're going to start throwing out different visuals and sneak peeks of that in our community. So that'll be coming very soon, because each level is going to have different rewards for it, because there are varying levels of difficulty with each of the levels too.
Okay, that makes sense, and that's a very good concept. So just like you said, with varying levels, it gets more interesting, and we know we are dealing with youngsters, kids, adolescents, and adults. And you also said you don't want this to affect the normal studies in schools and anything. So I would like to know, are there mandatory cool down periods set aside that after a period of time in which a particular wallet or a person has played the game, he will have to stop, like the game will stop for him, like he will need to rest for some period of time to digest what he has already learned and also do other real world activities before he's allowed back into the learning or playing aspect of the project?
That's a really great question. And I can kind of go back to when I was teaching, and, I 8 o'clock in the morning, I have a group of 35 12th graders in my room, or 17 or 18 years old, and half of them can't wake up. And it's because they're, playing Call of Duty until 4 a.m. and then they have to hop on the bus at 7 a.m. and they're exhausted. And I'm like, you guys you have to sleep. And one thing that I don't think would be a healthy practice would be encouraging people to play on this game to the point where they're not getting, healthy levels of sleep or doing things like that. And so we're making sure that we can implement those different, and I see it on TikTok too. If you're, scrolling and eventually they're like, whoa, slow down. Having different things like that, and also kind of putting that limit on there also goes in part with the security measures we were talking about earlier, and making sure that one person's wallet isn't completely manipulating the entire rewards system. And it also will make sure that we're aligned with that equal playing field objective and morals that we've prided ourselves on. So in addition to how we're building out the different tiered structure for the token rewards, we're also building out what that looks like for somebody's wallet and the amount of time that they're completing gameplay, because we want this to be a positive experience for people. We want learning to be something that is looked at as only a benefit, and we don't want there to be any sort of unhealthy habits that could be associated with the gameplay for our project. So, and I'm happy that you brought that up, because that's a very, very important quality and trait that we need to consider as we're building out everything.
Okay, I actually asked because when you even mentioned Call of Duty, I remember playing Call of Duty as late as 5 a.m. and then when I have lectures in the university, I'll sleep in the lecture room. It happens to me a lot. So there is that.
No, I see it firsthand, and while it can be so fun and so hard to pull yourself away from the screen, we don't want somebody to have those adverse effects with a game that should be encouraging, learning and education. And so we'll leave that to Call of Duty. They've got that covered. They know how to keep somebody playing until 5 a.m. Yeah. So, but that's something that we've definitely made sure to consider, to make sure that we're only promoting, positive outcomes of utilizing our learn to earn features.
Okay, so earlier in the AMA, you were talking about that since in US you cannot you are not allowed to store information of those lower than 13 years of age. But then if the parents want, they can put in their phone number into the game and other information. So I would like to confirm, does that mean that the app allows each parent or each player to custom their own type of game on the app also that will be personalized to their individual children or individual self?
Yeah, so there's not every level, but some of the levels are personalized. And in order for the child to play, before they can, there is a parental lock on it. And so they would have to take that level to their parent. And if that's a level, for instance, where they're learning their phone number, only the parent can complete that parental lock. And then from there, if there's a phone number that they want their child to remember, and that's like a memory game that we have on level 7, then they would input that phone number and they're playing. However, we do not store that data. We can't store that data. And then once they close out the app and they want to go back and, play a different level, if they revert back to that level again, the parent has to go through that again. And we've found in our surveys and feedback with parents, they like that. They like that it disappears. And we also make sure to display that and disclose that in our privacy policy too, that we can't store any kind of data like that. One, we don't really have a use for it. And two, that just also goes against our principles as well. So some of those levels are curated and personalized for families. Some of them are all general same concepts for everybody. So they vary, but the breakdowns and those different directions and what those goals are outlined at the beginning of each of those levels.
Yeah, that's real nice. The concept of hybrid, generalized and personalized is actually a good selling point if you ask me. So I'll take my last question and then I'll pass it over to Mike. You had briefly mentioned about NFTs, bringing in NFTs, though you said it's later in the future. But could you give us a sneak peek as to how NFTs will play a role in the learn to earn, play to earn, and the whole ecosystem of the whole project?
Yeah, so we've looked at a couple other different play to earn games, and one thing that I really loved is the ability to personalize your gaming experience and having different characters that you can choose to kind of take along your journey could also serve as your very own NFT, your very own character. And what better way to spread the word of the SOWL token than to have our own NFT gallery of various different super owls that are dressed up in different ways and customized, and that only contributes to your customized experience as well. So having that be something down the road that we plan to implement not only is something that personalizes and caters your learning experience, but it's another way to also earn on our project and just a way for us to even expand beyond that as well. So we're looking to have that gallery option. And one thing to touch on with that too, and if you're in our group, you maybe saw a couple of days ago, Tiffany, our designer, shared that we have a merchandise line coming out too, various, sweatshirts, sweatpants, hats, this, that, and the third, that will be able to, you can either, purchase with fiat or purchase with SOWL tokens as well. So we want to just be able to push out the name, the face, the brand between NFTs and real life physical objects like apparel as well. So that's in our plans down the road as well, that we're going to be adding to our roadmap.
Thank you for answering all my question. I'm done with the question, but I actually have just one last comment before I go away. Earlier, when I was reading about the project, I saw on your website that your private sale was December 2021. When I had seen this, I had to stop to look at my dates because I was like, this is 2021. You had private sale and you are still launching almost a year after. That is, though most projects I would know would have taken the money and run away. So just this aspect enough is for me to feel like this project is going somewhere. So I'll really, really congratulate you. And you didn't sound it enough that you are still here even after all the heartaches and everything that happened. You did not abandon your sailors. So I really, really have to congratulate you for that. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk. And over to you, Mike. Thank you, and I wish you great success in the future.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate those kind words. It was never an option for me to quit. It was just a matter of waiting for the perfect timing, and I'm very fortunate that I think we're there. So it was well worth the wait, in my opinion, and I'm happy that you think so as well. So thank you.
noticed I was muted there. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was like, I'll be here.
Oh, I appreciate those questions there, Abraham. You're always coming in with the good questions. Yeah. So that's really it, Megan. I see from the community for questions, unless anybody else would like to jump on the voice real quick and ask a question. You know, if not, I'll pass it back to Seattle here. All right. Well, Seattle, brother.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate all the questions. Megan, great job representing your project. I think you articulated yourself very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. And it looks like, I'm not sure if you look at the room, but everyone's doing that backslash all-time high again. Looks like the chart is moving as well.
Woo!
So amazing AMA, Megan. It's a pleasure having you here. Appreciate you guys coming by and appreciate everyone here attending AMA. If you don't have a last word for us, Megan, we will go ahead and do the prize giveaway.
I really just wanted to thank you guys so much for this platform and being able to come on here. And, you know, I don't want this to sound like one of those long-winded speeches that people give at the Oscars and then they start playing the music to get them off the stage. But there were so many people that were so instrumental in getting us to this point, from our pre-launch marketing agency who stuck with me from February of 2021 to now. Blockchain Pros, Harry and David, they really took me under their wings and helped me in our private sale, just having that core group that stayed with me for the year. And then in our fair launch, we had a community of they were the battle ready calls and the battle ready whales that came in. That community really came in and saw a lot of promise in us too. And so I think that they're a community to go check out as well. And then just our communities that have expanded into different regions and have been sharing so much about our project and contributing ideas. It's become not just, it's not my project. You know, when people ask me like, oh, how's your project going? It's become our project. It's really one that I think it's owned by the community and it's something that's going to benefit the community. And I look forward to serving this community and expanding it every day. And it starts with, you know, going on to platforms like this one. And I just want to thank you guys so much for giving me a voice and a place to share. So I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all of the questions as well.
Very well said. And also, you know, once you've done AMA here, you pretty much have lifetime support from us. So you are welcome to come in, give us update, and let us know if there's anything else that we can help you with.
Oh, I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I already feel very welcome. So everyone in the community has been so kind, and I look forward to seeing, you know, what we do in the future. I have the chart in the back of our screen right now, and I just see the little green bar going up, and it's, you know, it's catching my eye in the corner, and it just makes me so happy to see that something that I decided 2 days into the world shutting down in 2020 is now at this point, and because of that, I can't let it go to waste. There's no turning back now. There's only moving forward, and I'm happy to have everyone here moving forward with me. This is literally just the beginning. So I look forward to many years to come with all of you.
Awesome, Megan. So what we like to do is we like to raise awareness to your Telegram room as well. And we always like to ask you if you want us to send people to your room. So we will write something like, go to your room and say, great AMA at USA Crypto Group. Is that something that you want us to do?
Yeah, come on over. It's just SOWL Token. We have 4,222 members right now. Please don't join the group that has more members than that. They're not real. So I guess it's kind of flattery now that we have a couple, you know, impersonators, I guess. So please make sure that the community you're coming to is our official group. I'm in there as the head admin. Admins will not DM you first. And so just be careful with that. But we're over there right now. And you know, we have our little buy bot showing up, and I think this community is doing wonders for our project right now. But yes, please come on over, say hi, and introduce yourself. We love chatting literally all day, every day. So that it's constantly moving in there. So please come on over. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. So Johnny will write that down. So make sure you guys join the room and Mike's going to go there. He's going to pick one winner of $25 as well. But not just to go there to win the $25, guys. You see how Megan is. Seems like they have a great community. She's very honest and transparent. And she's doing great work. It's something that we can, vouch for. We can, back her up with. And I'm looking at the chart right now. It looks like, let's send it, guys. Let's send that to all-time high. We're almost there again, all-time high again. Let's do it.
All-time high currently is 1.64 million, and I think we just hit 1.55.
1.55.
It amazes me every day because I know that. I'm just ready to change the world, and I can't do it alone. We're doing it together. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure having you, Megan. And again, I appreciate everyone being here, attending this AMA session. Amazing AMA. All right, Megan, I know it's been 2 hours for us already. That was quick, actually.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. So.
Yeah. So go ahead and send it, guys. Let us send it to all-time high again. So with that said, Megan, you don't have to stay, but Mike's going to come on and he's going to do a couple cash prize giveaway.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you again. Oh, wait, can I stay and watch the wheel?
Oh, absolutely. Your name is first on the list.
Oh gosh. Oh, no, if it lands on me, I'm giving it to somebody else.
10-4. Usually we would do that as well. But Seattle's been gunning for this for a long time and it has not landed on him one time in the past what has it been, a year and a half? So I will hit. Go ahead, Seattle.
I think Mike's will is rigged because, like Mike said, it's been a year and a half. I have not won anything yet. So if you win, I'm going to take it from you. How's that?
That's fair. You deserve it. You deserve it.
All right.
I love it. All right. Well, we're going to grab one $25 winner off the random wheel tonight of the participants that was in on our AMA. We had 249 total in and out tonight. Soccer is life. Congratulations. Won yourself $25. Now, you guys also know I always like to go through all the questions, which we had quite a bit tonight. Try to, sift out the best question I could think that was actually asked tonight. Award that as well, $25. And like Seattle was saying earlier, I'll be over in your Telegram shortly to, I'll give you guys, like 15 minutes. That way everybody has a nice solid chance to go on in there and participate and be part of the community to pick an additional $25 winner. And that's it from me. Megan, this was an amazing AMA. I really appreciate it. And I actually hope to see you guys back with some updates in the future with us.
You're stuck with me now. So careful what you wish for. I'm kidding. No, but thank you so much. Yeah, I feel so welcome in your community and everyone in your group has been great. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity and the platform. So thank you.
Truly, we're glad to have this with you. All right, guys. Well, that is it from us at USA Crypto Group, and this has been an amazing AMA with Megan and the team over at SOWL. And we will see you all on the next one. I will have everything posted, pinned shortly, and have you guys over the YouTube link as well as the Telegram copy of the AMA recorded very shortly, Megan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank you everyone who joined.
Thanks, Megan. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, all.